Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to have you here with us at the 81st Venice Film Festival. Perhaps you could just kick off with a brief introduction for people coming fresh to your film. I Will Revenge This World with Love. What can they expect?
That with the name of S.Paradjanov, I can stop my speech actually. Many people call him like crazy genius. Also because he was the freest man outside of freedom and in not free conditions. So, but for me, this is the normal state of mind actually, and I don't think that way. This is not a classic biopic, and this film based on truly events in my life. And this is kind of author's POV, where Parajanov became a guide, and his museum and his friends and some of other international artists who helped me to find a solution how to live on in our nowadays toxic reality. It's a docudrama actually. Revenge with Love, for me, this is more about that. Before thinking about revenge, I think we need to try at least first to learn to love this life, beauty of this life, people whom we love, talk with them about this love because we're gonna lose them and never has an opportunity to tell them how they were loved. By the way, I would like to say that, for example, today, 7 years ago, I lost my father and I was late. So, and yeah, I mean, and Parajanov won, actually. He won because even in jail, he was doing art. He kept creating his art, and today he helped me to choose opposite direction to this distraction. I mean, everyone can find something in this film, I guess. Sometimes I think that this film gives more questions than answers. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of intelligent people in this film, and people will find something at least. I hope so.
And casting your mind back, maybe you could say a bit more about how he's touched your life and how you feel that there's almost been some serendipity, perhaps, the way that he keeps his work has found you at different moments in your life, and what importance does he hold for you?
I was aware of Parajanov in my 16, 17 because I grew up in Armenia and I left when I was 17, 18, something like this. And you wouldn't believe, but everywhere where I live, I used to live in Los Angeles, I used to live in Russia, I was traveling in a lot of countries, but all the time he was appear on my way. I mean, he was, for example, I was in LA and one American girl, just young girl, told me, listen, I heard that in Hammer Museum there is some retrospective of a crazy and genius, some Soviet director. I said, okay, so I went there, Parajanov, again, Color of Pomegranate, and then in Russia, and I was not very deep into his bio or his art, but when I got a little bit older, I felt that he's very close to me. So people had a lot of questions to him, why he did this or why he did this in that conditions that he used to live. But this is very obvious for me. I mean, and that feeling made me think about that. I mean, I need to go deeper. I need to go deeper. Of course, I was inspired also of his art because this man could even from garbage make some beautiful things and messages. And then when I went deeper, I understood what was that for him. He was trying to build his own beauty world, beauty around him, because I guess he didn't like the world where he lived. He used to live. What happened with me now, and I'm very thankful to my main producer and others that they took this path. In 2020, it was a war in Armenia, and it's affected me a lot, a lot. At that time, I was living in Moscow, and I had my questions, of course, to Russia and to whole world, who was silent, absolutely. And genocide that Armenians had in 1915, it was repeating in 21st century. And I was in this war, I was trying to do at least something with children and stuff. And then I went back again to Russia because I had business there. I had to do my things. And then when 2022 started and all these things that's happening in the world right now, I became a completely destroyed. And when I saw that my colleagues, very talented people who are talented in art or in this or that direction, they became an instrument of this toxic reality. They became bloggers, political bloggers, and they were losing themselves. And I was watching this, and I just took my suitcase and I came to my motherland to get inspiration, because this is my land, this is my blood, where my moms live. And I came back, it was October 25 in 2022, and then 27 of October, I was stuck in front of Parajanov auto-portrait in the museum, where he called himself son of three nations. He was a very cosmopolitan person, and he was called himself Armenian, born in Georgia, and imprisoned in Russian prison for Ukrainian nationalism. I was stuck like 10, 20 minutes in front of this, and I felt I want to tell my colleagues first this message that, listen, just stop it. We're gonna lose anywhere. Just let's do what we are doing best. Yeah, this film came to my mind immediately, and people around me who has the same ideology and philosophy somehow became like Ani, DOP Norair Kasper, Shushanik, director of NCC, our co-producer Stefan Jordan, it's Lawit. Then we got funding from Armenia, we got funding from France. Then somehow heroes started to come into our life. It was mysterious. We did this movie actually in 9 months. Wasn't easy, but it was possible, and we got this energy because we feel that Parajanov, Ani said always, Parajanov himself like blessed us. Yeah,
Okay.
this sounds a little bit, yeah, but he was a mysterious man.
Right from the beginning, did you already know that it would take this form and that your own story would also be layered into the narrative, rather than, like you say, taking the view of a classic biopic, let's say?
Very experimental, but very honest form. I was just telling my story, honestly. And yeah, I divided this on blocks, and I used, by the way, amazing interview of Parajanov. Parajanov participating as one of the heroes of the film. That was amazing. It was the 1 year before he died. It was 1989. He died in 1990. And this interview, it's like confession. I feel confession, because Parajanov was always very like, he was an actor also. But in this interview, I saw different Parajanov, completely different, like it was confession. And I used all this interview during the movie. And I used this interview when Parajanov opening the topics, even the topic of Artsakh, Nagorno-Karabakh, Ukraine, cinema today. And you know what is interesting? In this film, past, meeting, present all the time. When Parajanov talking through this interview from 1989, it seems like he's talking about today. Yeah, it's sometimes like shaking, because he, for example, he's saying he has a film, Muslim film, it's called Ashik Garib, author is Lermontov, and he said like, I was shooting this film during the war in Nagorno-Karabakh. He's saying this in interview, and we were shooting this film during the war in Nagorno-Karabakh, just after like 30 years. I mean, yeah, and sometimes world of illusion, world of abstraction in this film meeting world of reality, and sometimes you are not aware of where is reality, where is world of illusion, and only in the end, these two worlds meeting each other, sometimes giving us hope and sometimes making us to understand that, as Gandhi said, all we do is significant, but it is very important that we do this.
And in terms of what people can take away from the film, I guess on the one level, you know, discovering about Parajanov's work, you know, what kind of broader messages are there in there about artistic freedom, about freedom in general, and what do you hope that people perhaps take as inspiration from it?
I think that, so how I live, why Parajanov is close to me very much, because sometimes I feel that I don't have this feeling of fear. Not every time it's okay. I'm not talking about anarchy, which we have also around us, but I'm talking about spiritual freedom and personal truth and personal values. And if you feel that someone trying to break this, I mean, you need to stop this. You need to somehow protect your own vision and your own freedom. That's what I'm actually doing. I'm not scared to fly to Russia to see my granddaughter, because I have granddaughter in Russia, and I'm gonna do this. Some people say, oh, you are like, you have a lot of questions to the president of Russia Federation, how you can be such a free, because that's how I live. Probably we're gonna suffer a lot during this way, but I'm sure that at the end of this way, we're gonna be winners, and not only for us, but for society, for our children, for our country, for our nation.
What does it mean to you to have the film here at the Venice Film Festival, and why might festivals like this be important as platforms to share cinema from around the world, throw spotlight on topics that people wouldn't normally encounter?
First of all, I still don't believe, honestly. We are trying to get these emotions, and you know, I hope that after a couple hours I will feel that we are in Venice. But first of all, I'm very happy because S.Paradjanov was in Venice again last years in his life. It's a very famous story what he was doing here. He was completely not out of his mind. He was normal for me. So he came to the festival and he had to meet with Fellini, and he was drawing the umbrella for him. And Tonino Guerra, his friend, had to come to meet him after 3 days. And he called to Tonino Guerra and he said, listen, my money finished. And Tonino called to the hotel and everyone and said, listen, please, everything that S.Paradjanov needs, just let him do. I will come and I will take care of this. So what do you think? S.Paradjanov invited whole Venice to the restaurant. He was inviting everyone. He was like appreciating everyone. And then wife of Tonino Guerra, Laura Guerra, told that when we came to Venice, all waiters was put Tonino in circle to close these bills. And one more thing he did in the elevator, he didn't stall, he just took, because he was not thinking through the
normal
through the way that he's stealing something. No, he saw in elevator one frame, he just took it in the hotel, and left. And then I don't remember who called Tonino, say, listen, it's very bad situation, we respect him a lot, but blah blah blah. And then Tonino said, please wait, I'm coming. And then next day, the same person called him and said, listen, it's okay. He returned it. He made from this beautiful collage. It's amazing. It's masterpiece. Sorry that we disturbed you and we thought that he probably stole it. That was S.Paradjanov. So, and for me, of course, today, I'm at least, my shoulders, I feel that it's not that much heavy anymore, because it's always very difficult to touch iconic person. You know this. That's why this is not a classic biopic. So now I feel that somehow my responsibility, I get back to him. I somehow choose him as my guide, because today I will celebrate his centenary, and I'm sure he would be happy in Venice, in this worthy, amazing festival.
Amazing.
With my colleagues.
Thank you so much for sharing all that with me. Congratulations on the film. I've really enjoyed presenting it here in Venice. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.